good morning. It is actually really quite light. It feels like we really are getting into the summertime, and of course it's that time of the week again. Buttermint in mouth, in the car, fragrance drive along because it's the start of another working week. Now, the sort of topic I'm going to talk about today is actually inspired by the fragrance I am wearing. So I have got quite a strong fragrance on. I sprayed quite a lot of it, and I'm kind of regretting doing that now because I've realised this fragrance you can't get anymore, and it's Mossy Bottom by Lush. It's a Shaun the Sheep and Lush collaboration. And I believe Mossy Bottom, for those of you that are into Shaun the Sheep, is where Shaun the Sheep lives. And essentially the reason I want to talk about this one today, it inspired the videos, because when I first got this one I was not a fan. I didn't like it at all. It's meant to essentially smell like freshly cut grass, and even though I like the smell of freshly cut grass, I don't necessarily want to wear that as a fragrance. Now, does it actually smell like freshly cut grass? Not particularly. It's better than that. But it did take a little bit of getting used to for me, and so it's been a bit of a slow love essentially. But that's really what I wanted to get into today. Fragrances where I've changed my opinion on them, where I was initially wrong for better or worse. Because where I'm now really, really enjoying this one, I put it on last night. My mum was like, wow, that smells amazing. There's others that I've really liked and said I was like, I absolutely love this, and then over time I've just gradually come to not like it. But Mossy Bottom, if you can get your nose on it, if you can find it on eBay, I really recommend this one. I believe there's a bit of neroli and bergamot in it. It is a green fragrance, there's no two ways about it, as you'd expect with things that are meant to smell like freshly cut grass. But there's this soapy cleanness about it that I really like, really, really like, which I think has essentially lightened the fragrance up. It's different, it's quite aromatic in my opinion. There's a lot going on. I'm not sure what note it is in particular, but it's strong. This is a very strong fragrance. People around you will notice this. I always say, if you can smell the fragrance on yourself strong, everyone around you can, because you become a little bit nose blind, a little bit anosmic to it, especially if you've been wearing it for an hour or two. So it's a very strong fragrance. If you like green fragrances, I think this is one you definitely want to try. There's nothing in Lush's collection I think actually smells like this one. So if they can maybe re-release this scent, even if it's not in a collaboration, I will certainly be buying it. It's really, really nice. Now, I think it was £35 off the top of my head for a 200ml bottle, but I'm going to do one more Lush one before we move on from Lush. And this is one that had the opposite effect for me. Another body spray, Avocado Co-Wash. Now, this one, if you've smelled this before, it's almost like this sherbety sweet smell. And when I first smelled this, I'll be honest, I was in love. It was genuinely, in my opinion, and I'm going to say it literally like this, it was potentially my favourite fragrance ever. That's how much I liked it. It was just, it's got this kind of lemony sherbet smell, but it's not really strong on lemon. It's a bit vanillic. It's just, I don't know, it's just for some reason I really liked it. But over time I really grew not to like this one. Now, I think in part that's because I had Curl Power, which is a hair cream which smelled like Avocado Co-Wash. I got it as a present, and then I bought another one with some birthday money. And I just think I overdid it. I had so much of this spray, and it was like I'm smelling it all day, every day. And that sort of sweet smell is a little bit juvenile. And then I think when I went back to wearing proper fragrances, let's say, from like Hermes or, Actor Palmer, I thought, I don't know if I really like this one. It's not particularly smooth. It's a little bit rough around the edges. And I think with the changes of seasons as well, where it was kind of warming up, I just ended up really not liking it and almost just wasting the bottle, overspraying it to get rid of it. And then it's too strong, and you start spraying it on other things. You use it as a room spray. And I just haven't really bought it since. It's a shame, because it is a nice smell. It's not a bad fragrance, but it does smell a little bit like a sweet, and I didn't really know if I wanted that. So we're now going to go on to some different ones, and this is one that actually I never owned. I'm going to go back to one that I didn't like, that has grown on me over the years. I'm not going to say it's a love, it's still a like, and it's probably not one I'd ever buy just because it's quite expensive. But it's by Montal. It's called Red Oud. My brother bought this one when he bought Greedy Chocolate and a couple of others. Now, Red Oud, you can probably tell by the name, there's a little bit of oud in this one, but this isn't really what this fragrance is about. It's more to do probably with that red and spice, because I think there might be a little bit of chili in this one. It's basically a spicy oriental fragrance, and I'm just not a big fan of spice, and this one is a very, very unique smell. Again, Montal have got a lot of very strong fragrances, and this one's strong, and it just smelled to me like, basically, again, you're mixing spices in a bowl, and you've just dipped all over your body by mistake. You know, you've ended up missing the bowl and drowning yourself in this stuff. And that's kind of what I got from this. Just didn't enjoy it. You know, it was really horrible. But what I realised over time, I remember my brother wore it one day. It was a cold day, and he said, I said, oh, that's Red Oud, isn't it? He said, yeah, it is. And it's one of them again, up close. And this again probably goes back to the fact it's spices. It tickles your nose. It's not very pleasant. In the air, and if you catch a waft of it, you know, the scent trail, the sillage, it's really nice. It's really nice. It's not a love, but it's one where it didn't feel as divisive as I thought. It smelled a bit cleaner than maybe I gave it credit for. And yeah, it's certainly grown on me. I appreciate it. That's probably the best thing I can say. It's not one I'm ever going to probably buy, but I appreciate that it has a place and it is unique, and that's what I like about it. Now I'm going to go back to one that's currently in my collection. Again, it was a love, sorry, which is why I bought it. It's not at all now. And I remember at the time when I first saw the reviews on this one, I thought, I can't believe this doesn't get better reviews. But over time on Fragrantica, just looking at those comments, I'm agreeing with them even more. And it's Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared. I've done fitness fragrance review on this one, so if you want to check that one out. But I think a lot of people like chocolate in fragrances, and that was the reason I bought this one. It's like a dark bitter chocolate, more like a baking chocolate, and the reason I liked it was how loud it was. It was so strong, and it wasn't that expensive in Liberty. It was well, I say it wasn't that. It was £90, but if you go into Liberty in London, that's quite cheap. And I thought, well, my favourite spray that I'm wearing actually today, or I've smelled in the shop today, is actually one of the cheaper ones in the shop. So that kind of influenced me to buy it. But one thing that's really prominent in this is the cinnamon. And again, it goes back to a bit of that spices, and I just did not like it in the end. There's basically one of the main criticisms of it from a lot of people is that it's too heavy on the cinnamon, and it really is. It's very aggressive, very in your face, very dark. And I've asked other people in the house, what do you think of this one? Because it's so loud. I'm like, you're going to notice it. And I'm thinking, why has nobody mentioned it? Why is nobody saying you smell really nice? And they said it's just a bit too much. It's a bit too aggressive. And I think it's quite limited in when you can wear this scent. I mean, prime example, today it's sunny, it's a bit cool this morning, it's okay, but I'm not going to be running in it like I normally do my reviews. I don't really want to be even indoors with it, because you're going to be sick of it by lunchtime. And it's very hard to wash this one off. It's so strong. And it's just, like I said, I don't doubt its quality, but I don't think the blend is quite right. I don't think they've got the balance right. They needed something creamy like a vanilla, like a caramel. Some sort of lactonic note just to sweeten, you know, that really spicy bitterness from the cacao, which I know isn't meant to be as sweet as cocoa, but yeah, it needed something just to balance it out a little bit more, and that's kind of, everyone across the board seems to think much the same on that one. So yeah, it's disappointing. Now again, we'll go back to one I didn't like at first, Gucci Guilty Absolute. This is a funny fragrance, this one. Now I personally love it, and I want to say first of all, fair play to Gucci for releasing something like this, because it's not a mass-pleasing general designer scent. This is everything that you don't expect. And when I first spoke to my brother bought it, and I actually said to him, I said, I think you've got a fake here, you've got a dodgy batch, this just smells like a leather shoe. and it's almost got like this suede leather medicinal smell to it. And I just said to him, that is not right, that doesn't smell good, it doesn't smell like a fragrance. It almost felt to me like you've got these brand new pair of shoes, you've opened the shoe box, and I was like, whoa, that isn't right, that is not right. But because of its uniqueness, and because of the fact that I think nothing smells like this, I can't honestly think of anything that smells like this fragrance at all. I couldn't stop smelling it, even though I didn't particularly like it initially, I couldn't stop smelling it. And then, when I was doing sports coaching as a job, I remember I saw an offer for it. I think it was about £41, and I was really getting into just buying sprays at this time. And I thought, right, it's not my favourite, but this is a good price for 150ml. I'm just going to make an offer, and I made an offer of about £38. And like 2 minutes later, I'm regretting it, but they'd accepted it. I was like, okay, well, I ain't got a choice now. I'm going to have to give it a try. And over the years, look, do I feel that comfortable wearing it myself personally with the way I dress and things I do? Not overly, but I do like it. I do appreciate it. For someone who's buying fragrances a bit of as a hobby, I feel like you have to almost, or I feel like I have to have this one in my collection just because it's so different. And I think it's actually quite wearable in terms of like leathery smells go. I don't think it's quite as harsh as like a Tuscan leather, for example. I think ombre leather for me is the absolute best, but like an Acqua di Parma leather and stuff I think are a lot harder to pull off than this one, and I think that makes it quite appealing to me. I really like it. I do really like it. Again, there's others that I could go into that I didn't like at first. I mean, some that I've obviously been doing videos of recently, Terre d'Hermès, the original Terre d'Hermès, didn't like it at first. It's a little bit more grown up, that one, and I think when I first smelt it, I probably was someone who was more into those just general aquatic freshies. But I think in recent times, I just cannot knock how good that fragrance is in terms of just being, oh, there's a bike he's quicker than I thought. Thought I was going to get by him then. But yeah, those general, oh, that's good. At least he put his hand up. But yeah, those general freshies were what I was into at the time. And I think another one that I liked a lot at the start was probably a full victim of this, was Paco Rabanne 1 million. I remember my auntie bought it as like a little gift set, and I remember thinking, wow, they've spent a lot of money, because I remember Googling, when this is what happens when you're younger, you think, oh, what's everyone wearing, what's the most popular smell? I remember Googling it, was 1 million. And I remember when my auntie bought it, I was just so happy. I was like, wow, my auntie's bought me this one, and I really, you know, I've wanted this for ages. Oh, I need to drop the buttermint out my mouth. There we go, saved it. But over time, when you smell like Acqua di Parma and stuff, this one smells quite synthetic in comparison, and I think it has just run its course, unfortunately. Even amongst most people now, it's a transition to blue fragrances for a lot of those people. I think it will recover. I think it'll always still be around, because I'm sure it still is a bestseller. But yeah, it's a bit tough to wear in the same way now. It's not as versatile as those fragrances. It's much more suited to those night times, so that's cinnamon in it, a bit of amber. And then probably the final one I'll mention today, we started with a sort of green fragrance with Mossy Bottom. I'm going to finish with a green fragrance from Acqua di Parma, Colonia Club. Now, I'm not going to talk about the new version of it, because I haven't actually smelt that one properly. But Acqua di Parma, Colonia Club, the original Colonia Club that was in just a green bottle. My brother had it, and again, up close, it's a very old school green fragrance. This is not, again, as you'd expect with Acqua di Parma, it's a lot more grown up. There's no real sweetness to Acqua di Parma. They're more mature. And this is quite aggressive green, you know, you've got to be someone who likes, it almost feels like a bit of a lumberjack fragrance if you're going into the woods. But my brother has got so many compliments on this one. He went to the doctor's once, the doctor mentioned it and bought it, or said he was going to buy it. We were on holiday once and we were walking down the high street, 2 people stopped and I could hear them, well, we heard them say, oh, one of them 2 smells really nice. It was my brother's Colonia Club. And again, I smelled it once and I knew exactly what it was. I was like, that's Colonia Club, that's really nice, that. Again, just catching it in the air, we've just left this really addictive trail. But you do feel like that one's better for outdoors, you know, walking through a wooded forest, something like that. But it's got really good performance. That's the farmer. There are Eau de Colognes in their Colonia line, and most of their fragrances are actually. Doesn't mean they're necessarily weak, and this one certainly isn't. But neither is Mossy Bottom, which I am wearing today. I will let you know in one of the future videos if I get any compliments on it today. But I wouldn't be surprised because it smells very good, and it's very refreshing and uplifting on a cool sunny day. So yeah, thank you very much for watching today. Hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, more videos to come soon. Catch you later.